Yo, what is up everybody? Assassin's Creed, we've got the full set now. It is going into Modern, not going into MTG Arena, but there are a couple of cards that are kind of interesting. And so I thought I'd take a look at some of those. So the whole set review is out. I'll put a link to this in the description. I thought I'd select a few cards to kind of take a look at and be like, oh hey, these are quite interesting. Let's actually take a look at some of the cards. So rather than go through the entire list one by one, I've actually just picked some of these out. So hopefully. Alright, starting with white. Distract the guards. 1 white sorcery. Free running 1 white. Create 3 1/1 white human rogue creature tokens. Free running. You may cast a spell for its free running cost if you dealt combat damage to a player this turn with an assassin or commander. It's actually pretty hard. But 3 humans, 2 mana. There's a joke here, 3 white mana, 3 white dudes. Anyway, it's like Gather the Townsfolk on steroids if you've got an assassin or well, you're not going to have a commander, are you? Okay, some actually more interesting cards. I was like, maybe that first one's like maybe a bit of a meme, but in like some humans assassin kind of hybrid shell, you can do some crazy stuff and get a bunch of creatures to play very early. Reconnaissance, though, is a 1 mana enchantment and is a 0 ability to remove target attacking creature you control from the combat and untap it. If you activate it during end of combat, the creature will untap after it does damage. And in particular, this card is interesting with Knight of the Reliquary and cards a bit like that. Knight in particular, where it gets to attack, do less damage, then untap, so you can then use the tap ability, sack lands and stuff. You don't get to do the extra damage, but it is pretty cool. Next up, we've got Senu, Keen-Eyed Protector. 1 white for 2/1 flying with vigilance. Tap, exile Senu, Keen-Eyed Protector. You gain 2 life and scry 2. However, when a legendary creature you control attacks and is not blocked, if Senu is exiled, put it onto the battlefield attacking. So like this is kind of innocuous, right? Like it's a 2 mana 2/1 flyer. 1 enough this we're doing in Modern. It doesn't actually have to be exiled with its ability to be put into play tapped and attacking. You can exile all the pitch spells and then get it back tapped and attacking when your like Thalia attacks or your Boromir attacks or your Kellen or whatever creature. So it's actually pretty cool and like plays quite well with some of that strategies. I wouldn't necessarily want to be playing a load of them, but hey, maybe you like play one and be like, all right, cool. Well, if I like exile List of Solitude, I get to put it to play my Thalia attack, so I get to use ability, and that's some value. All right, next we've got Taxcolor. 1 white for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1 either until your next turn spells your opponent cost you 1 more to cast, or a rest to detain a creature your opponent controls. Obviously, the most powerful thing here is that opponent's spells cost 1 more to cast, and it is until your next turn from when it enters the battlefield. The rest of the current turn, well, if you're playing it on your main phase and not violating it in, the rest of the current turn, your opponent's turn, and then obviously this stops. Importantly, you can violate in. Are you going to start casting cantrips? I'm going to put this into play. Stop what you're doing for the turn, especially the Storm deck around, and in particular this card with the new Papa barrier to keep flickering it and keep reusing the ability. It's also 2 toughness, you can teach it with things like Recruiter of the Guard. Very cool. I think there's actually some potential here. Alright, Escape Detection. We're getting interesting again. 1 blue. Return target creature to its owner's hand, draw a card. However, it has free running, or returning a blue creature you control to its owner's hand. So if you've dealt combat damage to a player this turn with an assassin or a commander, you can return one of your creatures to a bounce creature for free, so you don't pay the mana cost, right? Which is pretty powerful. In blue, you might have a bunch of things you want to reuse effects as well, but this is like free interaction that you can use here. And there's actually like, there's something, I don't know how good it will actually be, but there's definitely some potential for an actual like constructed deck based around these kind of things. So let's carry on going. Yeah, I thought that was cool. Alright. EV4 event included here for like one particular reason. It 1 blue for 2/1. It's a human assassin. Okay, cool. It's got some key types on there. 1 tap, draw a card, then discard a card. When you discard a creature card this turn, target creature can't be blocked. Okay, like plays into some assassin strategy. Neat. It seems like way too slow, but the thing that I'm actually interested in here, it's got partner, because we do not have any cards that are legal in Modern with the tax partner on them. When you play Eevee, Heavy, you get to get Jacob Fry. Who does this? 2 and a black for 3/2. Okay, again, like these stats are not great. It's just like, this is kind of interesting because they do for each other. Like there's an assassin something, and there's some synergy here. Whenever 1 or more assassins you control do combat damage to a player, exile up to 1 target assassin card or card with free running from your graveyard, and if you copy it, you may cast the copy. And we've already seen like the free running effects tend to be like cost reduction things. Again, they're like bouncing a creature again. The one weird thing, especially with one of the cards we just saw there, where you get to return the creature. You can return this, or not return this, you can return like the heavy bit and then play it again and then get another copy of Jacob, and all of a sudden you're kind of, alright, anyway. Alright, Hook Blade Veteran. We're talking about humans and assassins, and like cards that might fit into archetypes, so let's take a look at one. Blue for a 1/2, as long as it's your turn, Hookblade Veteran has flying, can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. And so, hey, what? I've just read out the text on flying. Yeah, it has flying. Cool. It's a 1/2, the stats aren't great, however, it does have flying on your turn, means you can attack in, trigger all your free running effects very, very easily, which is pretty strong. We've seen some of them do get pretty powerful, and again, it's a cheap one that you can return and then play again for a low mana cost. Aether Vial type stuff as well, and also it's the one that you can use to enable your like triple gather the townsfolk on turn 2, which is kind of neat. And so hey, if there is like an assassin deck that's like floating around that some people are going to cook, seems reasonable to be in there. And especially like the 3/1/1s, not that powerful on their own, 1/2 not powerful. You know, like Thales of Tenant if you go the blue-white route, or like these other assassin cards, which there are some more here that are pretty interesting. There's some stuff going on. Alright, restart sequence. Okay. Pick again. 3 and a black for a sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. However, it has free running. And if you've dealt combat damage with an assassin or a commander, you can pay it for 1 and a black to reanimate a card. Thoughtseize, all kinds of stuff. Like, this is your graveyard important. If you want to play Assassin Scam, alright, maybe too deep. But an interesting one. Like 2 mana reanimate effects, like Persist is obviously great. This can hit legendary stuff as well, which is important, actually, especially for some potential strategies as well. It's actually pretty interesting. I'm not saying you're going to play your 1 mana blue human and then try and discard your Atraxa and then like reanimate it, but there's some cool stuff that you could try and mess around with here. Achilles Davenport up next here. 2 blue, black for a 3/3. Menace. Other assassins you control won't get +1/+1, and it has free running for 2 and a black. Potentially a 2 mana 3/3 that buffs your other assassins that itself has evasion to help you trigger your free running effects. And all of a sudden, you're kind of cooking, and you can like reanimate this again, like and do some other stuff. There's some legs here, maybe we can find our sea legs, and yeah, would be like pretty key to any potential like blue-black assassin deck. Jackdaw. Looks like a bit of a weird one. 1 blue-red for a vehicle. Not many vehicles that lets you play in Modern, let's be honest. It's a 4/4, crew for 3, but, and the but is the bit that's like really interesting. Because whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may discard your hand. Okay. If you do, draw a card for each artifact you control. And all of a sudden, you can be drawing a lot of cards. Crew 3 is a large number. 3 mana is also a large number. However, the ability to draw a card for each artifact you control, I'll say priceless and finish the meme, but like, is pretty interesting. Again, like a pretty cool card. Very interesting, I think. Let's carry on going. Smoke Bomb. Okay. 3 mana artifact with flash. All creatures have Shroud. Interestingly enough, this stops Nadu. They were ready. They knew. You already got the answer. No problem. It's a 3 mana artifact with flash that stops it. Alright. I mean, hey, it's not literally. You get like a turn. The Smoke Bomb, flash, all creatures have Shroud. Can't be the target spells or abilities, so like your Shiko activations. None of that stuff. Both yours and your opponent's. Important to note. Beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Smoke Bomb. So you're going to flash on your opponent's turn, untap. Protect your stuff for a turn. Cool. Or if you have to play it on your turn, like to protect stuff in combat, you get the entire turn cycle with your stuff not being able to be targeted. At the beginning of your upkeep, you sacrifice it, but then when you do, target creature you control can't be blocked. Even more upside. And so, this card is really cool. If nothing else, it's just like a huge flavor win. But it is a card that's like actually like interesting enough and powerful enough to maybe see some modern play. The Animus. Right. 2 mana, artifacts. And that's probably the reason why I've left this on the list here. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 legendary creature from your from a graveyard with a memory counter on it. So like 2 mana, let's go through what it does first actually. Until your next turn, target legendary creature you control becomes a copy of target creature in exile with a memory counter on it. Activated as a sorcery. Potentially pretty powerful. For example, I think the limitation here that I should point out is like, for example, you're like, oh, what about like Emrakul the Aeon's turn? Unfortunately, this triggers on your end step. So Emrakul shuffles back as soon as he gets started. You never get to that point. There are some cool things you can copy, and it also can copy your opponent's stuff. Whether that be something like Yawgmoth is an obvious example, I guess. Whether that be something like Nadi. Tap until your next turn. Target legendary creature you control. So it has to also be legendary. It is the Animus. You have to be pretty legendary to get in there. And you become a copy of it. Exile the memory counter. Sorcery speed, but as a 2-mana artifact, it's not a huge cost. And there are some pretty interesting stuff you can do with it. We've seen like how busted a Cauldron is, right? And so, hey. And then a couple of lands just to close things out. Abstergo Entertainment. Taps for colorless. It has the Shimmering Grotto, tap for any color. But has a 3-tap exile ability to return up to 1 historic card from your graveyard to your hand. And then also exiles all graveyards. Bit of a weird one, but like kind of interesting. It does exile itself too. And then also Brotherhood Headquarters. And this is like your unclaimed territory for like just assassins. Except you could also use the mana to cast free running spells. Unless you go for like the maybe you want to play like go all in on Esper free running. And that kind of thing. And so like while this set obviously has like a casual turn towards it, Assassin's Creed is like a pretty cool IP that Wizards have got to use with Universes Beyond, and it fits however well and you get some cool characters and stuff. There are just like enough things on the fringe of modern playable, and that might annoy some people because a lot of people, I'm sure, would just love to ignore this set and not have to worry about it for modern. But there are a couple of pieces which I'm like, can we make something work here? Can we do some stuff? People are going to cook. We'll see what actually ends up happening, but I think it's pretty cool. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please do like, subscribe, algorithm stuff, share the video around. I would really appreciate it. And let me know what you think. Like, are these cards good enough to make it into modern? What are you interested in? Are there some archetypes that these cards are going to fit into already? Maybe. There's some cool stuff to mess around with for sure. Alright. Thanks for watching. Peace out.